Alright folks, this is a big patch, at least for vehicles anyways. Two of these are Russian server imports, somewhat. They changed the roles of heavy tank to a medium and a tier 8 to tier 10. So they have side skirts now, different machine guns, yada yada, but there's lots of German and Czech vehicle in this round of common test for some reason. So let's get started. The Windhund, tier 8 special German tank destroyer. Looks more like a Hummer of an S-tank, right? Space armor on the hull front for ramming. It is siege mode with the 105. Should be a L7 copy, but practically in comparison to the Kampfpanzer III 07HK, it's not a bad looking vehicle more or less, but you do have the snipers in comparison, like with the Canopener Jagdpanzer I or the 105 and the Canopener Jagdpanzer II in waiting. So there is no lack of sniper German tank destroyers, but this thing could have space armor on the whole front for more aggressive playstyle. So 105 L7 copy, okay-ish DPM, respectable, at least a little bit better than the Canopener Jagdpanzer 105. But siege mode for the tracks, 3-man crew, similar to all the S-tanks usually. So let's see the firepower in non-siege mode. They don't give you the actual siege mode in the game, and tanks.gg is not updated yet. It's a little bit too early. It's 1.29. Similarly for the article page, so get off my back. Yeah, there's no article, so I'm going off by hidden status for now. So yeah, I mean DPM is alright. Does it get better DPM or worse DPM in siege mode? That is the question. So for the Kampfpanzer 03 or Kampfpanzer 3 Project 07HK, it gets worse DPM but better accuracy in siege mode. So it should be about the same with this vehicle. So we'll have to see, but the gun is completely fixed to the hull. It's different on the tier 9. The tier 9 could move the gun about a little bit for gun elevation depression, similar to the UDES 03. But yeah, okay. I mean, it does traverse pretty quick in the socket, I guess, or slightly. Why do you even have a gun traverse speed when the gun doesn't even move? I don't know. There's no socket. 320 Alpha, kinda meh in comparison to 390, but DPM is a little bit better than the Canopener Jagdpanzer 105 baseline. So how good is the actual armor? 1200 health, 50 hull front, 30 hull sides. Oh boy. Crap. It is 10mm space armor, but let's see. Let's use a 75mm. The angling is still not as crazy. I mean, there might be some parts that's bouncy, but the space armor doesn't really help. I mean, at this angling, it's not as well sloped as a actual S-tank, so you will jam the shot into the bottom plate, into the upper plate, into the driver hatch, or commander hatch. That should be the commander, or actually that should be the commander on the starboard side and the driver on the port side. But actually the driver's right there, what I'm talking about, that's a gunner. So it's not that well armored, unfortunately. It's a sniper at this point. Yeah, a complete sniper. You cannot play this thing aggressively like with the actual S-tank for that matter, or with the stuff like the Kust or Taurus CA on the Russian server, but it's not a aggressive S-tank. Only a strip of 30 with 10mm space armor on the top end. So for the driver, it's flat. That's the commander, that's the gunner. It's a S-tank through and through, but at least has a little bit more health. 21.88 horsepower per ton ratio, 50-ish kilometers per hour top speed. I would say if they release the Canopener Jagdpanzer II you might as well play with that vehicle than this one, right? The armor doesn't really hold up, whereas the Canopener 𝗩𝗵𝗱𝗱𝗀𝗃 2 has better mobility and better DPM for the sniping S-tank of the Germans. But camo, not bad. Pretty respectable, but it's not as good as 24% on the actual UDES-03. So it's still good, but it's not crazy. Or S1. View range, S-tank, it's always garbage. Radio is still below average for some reason, but not bad. It is special. It is not a premium. So are they shifting the token tanks from tier 9 to tier 8 for Battle Pass? That wouldn't be a surprise because they already nerfed the crew members to non-zero skill brothers in arms, right? So they could put this as a tier 8 token tank now for Battle Pass, but who the hell knows. Moving on, SZDV Vz 50. Gun cooling D25T on a Chinese-esque, Russian-esque of a superstructure of a tank destroyer. So it looks like a WZ-113 GFT with a 122 practically, or just a large ISU with a bulging commander cupola similar to a IS-2 for some reason. So it's practically an ISU 122 in a sense, just a bigger superstructure at the back end. So yeah, it looks more like the 113 GFT, the tier 10 version, just a bigger cupola on top. It is gun cooling, similar to the Japanese heavy tank. It is premium, but D25T 122. Oh, crap. 4-man crew fits your ship TVP 100 or DBV 152. We don't even have a full tech tree of the checks for tank destroyers. What the hell? So baseline DPM is pretty good. It is a D25T, so reloads pretty quick. You have to wait about 1.5 second more, 1.7 for the gun to cool, which is not that bad. So you get about 2,400 DPM or so with the cooled gun at 0.26 accuracy. But if you're already close range, you want the DPM, this thing has the DPM. So yeah, classic alpha damage for the D25T, just better pen now. Yeah, a lot better pen. Regularly, it's about like heavy tank guns with D25T at tier 8 is usually 190 on stuff like the IS-6. So this has been modified, but gold shell, it's fine. For a tier 8 premium, that's fine, I guess. So you like your gun cooling on Japanese heavy tanks? Now you have it on a tank destroyer, even though the armor might not hold up. 1350 health, a little bit more than average. Average is about 1200 or so for a tank destroyer at tier 8, but it's about 200mm, 220 effectively on the superstructure. Don't shoot the mantlet. Mantlet is thick unless it's around the gun. That's only 200. Upper plate 100. Bottom plate 110. Effectively 170 or so. Cupola is massive. This thing a sniper. You are not frontline. Do not go frontline, please. Unless you can only hide the hull. But you still got a cupola. It's not an assault tank destroyer like with the Chinese. You'll get pinned. You'll get easily pinned normally. So slope 165, not really that crazy for a tier 8 tank destroyer. So maybe sloped 200 possibly, but yeah, this doesn't really cut it, especially with the cupola. The cupola's massive. So gun cooling, snipe from the back. It's like an ISU 122 at tier 8 with the benefit of the gun cooling, but mobility's alright. Pseudo heavy tank chassis, or more or less, right? 60 tons, holy crap, this thing is heavy. Camo's garbage, like a Patton, so definitely keep it to the back. Just cool the gun and snipe. View range, not as bad as you would think. Still kind of crap, but not as bad. Radio is still below average for some reason. Alright. But yeah, visually it's a it's an ISU 122 at tier 8 practically. So with the benefit of the gun cooling, but that's practically it. So use the DPM, use the gun cooling to snipe. This thing, this is the interesting bunch of cannons on a AMX M4-esque of a body. The Zwilling E65 never really happened. It's not a thing. E65, E77, E79, not in the game, E90, not a real thing, right? Not really. Maybe the E15 for the mini cockroach, but not a thing yet. So, twin barrel 88 L71. It has lots of turret armor, lots of hull armor, supposedly, at least on paper. But yeah, this thing has a mobility similar to a TS-54, except the lock time is much worse. Better prep time for the double shot. So premium tank, twin 88 L71. So salvo prep is quick, 1.5 seconds. So double shotting is very quick, but you have to wait 6 seconds after firing the double shot, which is about the same time of a reload of the gun. So finish off with the double shot. Don't just double shot and wait. You'll lose out on the DPM. So practically a mini Canopener FV230 at tier 8. So high DPM. Respectable. They nerfed the accuracy. We just saw this. 0.32 to 0.34. Interesting. But kept the long lock time after firing. Yeah. Duration of the gun reloading block. That's a lock time. So DPM is still about the same as with the super test. They nerfed the accuracy from 0.32 slightly. But how good is the actual armor? 1500 health, 160 at the hull front, still 270 at the turret front. We talk about this on the GER video, but I mean, turret front all red, hull front 230. That's actually pretty decent. Practically auto bounce for the cheeks. Bottom plate. Bottom plate is a well-angled 100. So if the vehicle is too tall, then it's about 220 to 230. That's a very good angle on the bottom plate. So only weak spot is a very thin sliver of a commander cupola at 160, or the rangefinders on the side, but that's a small target, similar to the TS-54. Turret front 270. Mantlet 255. 240. There is 2 weak spots above the gun at 135, but they're still rounded to about 230-ish millimeters. So this thing is strong. Yeah, 270 on a tier 8 for a turret front. That's flat, actually slightly sloped, but still that's pretty good, right? That's pretty good. Is there space armor on the hull side? There is. So unlike the E77, when they took away the space armor for some reason, this thing actually has space armor. That's good. But the above the tracks is only 60. So don't really rely on the side scraping. The upper plate will bounce. So just use the upper plate and haul down. The armor's good. Yeah, cupola just a sliver. Rangefinders are small targets. It's thick, but yeah, high pin gold shell will still go through. People will get tired. They nerfed the horsepower per ton, right? We just talked about this on the GER video. It was 16.5, now it's 15.4. I mean, it's still good, but they nerfed the horsepower per ton. Funny enough, they also nerfed the traverse. Yeah, they nerfed the traverse from like 31 degrees on the hull to like 28. At least we get a refresher recently. That's good. It still weighs a lot to ram. Camo the same, 4.9, still better than the GER. And 380 meters of view rate. Why does all of these have subpar radio for some reason? It's not 750 or at least 700. it's still a good vehicle, right? I mean, the double shot is crazy. Mini can opener of tier 8, just without the switching to double shot mode and the garbage accuracy in the double shot. So prep time is quick, just the lock time. This is a good vehicle, just slightly nerfed, slightly. All right, VZ62, the Jasan or Jasan medium tank, should be an autoloader, but looks mushroomy on the turret design, 𝗛𝗶𝗱𝗱𝗲𝗀𝗀 on the back. It should be comparable to the Skoda T50, but this thing is, yeah, less like the actual traditional Skoda T50. It should have some troll armor, right? At least on the turret front, comparison to the paper armor Skoda, but kind of mushroom. There is a turret ring guard above the hull roof next to the driver, so that could prevent shot trap, but we'll have to see. So premium tank at tier 9 makes the bonds. 100mm autoloader, 4 round in the magazine, deals more about the same alpha damage. Actually, was it 320 alpha on the Skoda? So you have 1 more round in the clip that deals less damage, but still not bad. Crew of 4 fits all the Skoda T50 or T50-51s. 2,350-ish DPM, not bad for the autoloader. It is 1.5 seconds between each shot, which is quick for 300 alpha. So basically clipping out in like 3.5 seconds of 1,200 damage alpha, and runs away to reload for only 26 seconds. So for a DPM on an autoloader, that's pretty good. So you're not fully aimed between each shot, but that's still a quick aim time. Accuracy is mediocre. Does have 8 degrees of gun depression. And originally we mentioned the rangefinder, or at least the gunner sights, as a deterrent, kind of a space armor for shots in the cupola, but how good is the actual armor? Health is about the same for autoloader at tier 8, so not as much as a E50, which is like 1800 or something like that, but respectable. 80 hull front, not great. 160 turret front, it is rounded, but you'll jam it through the cupola. For the loader, for the commander, sometimes bouncing off of the weird angles on the mushroom, but not much. There is the 50mm turret ring protection bar. It's not much. You can still jam a shell from the bottom of the turret into the hull roof, or just jam it through the turret. So not exactly that well armored, but 40 on the hull sides, 20mm for tracks. Not really that well armored. You could bounce a few more than the Skoda T50, but not really that much more. Not really. So yeah, still about the autoloader on this vehicle. 23 horsepower per ton ratio. I think that's a little bit better than the Skoda T50, if I remember correctly. It could be about the same. 50 km per hour top speed, 20 reverse. You need a turbocharger on this thing. Make it go faster. Only 37 tons. It's kind of featherweight. Well, then again, it's fine. 14% camo, not the worst, not the best. So could be slightly better. And 390 meters of range. This is fair. I think this is more than fair. I mean, it's fine. But in the wake of tier 9 premium medium tanks being very good, this is above average, I would say. I mean, it's not the worst, but I wouldn't be surprised if they replace some of the 𝗛𝗶𝗱𝗱𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 for this vehicle, in a sense, right? The 𝗛𝗶𝗱𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 has low DPM, and the only good feature about the 𝗔𝗀𝗀 is 12 degrees gun depression, so this thing is more viable as an autoloader in comparison to the 𝗔𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀. But I think it's fair. I mean, it's mushroomy, so it's fine. I think this is a fine vehicle. Moving on, the Lišák. It is a medium tank now. It is double shot. It's not a heavy tank. Now it has space armor on the hull side and a different machine gun on the top. But yeah, it looks a lot better as a medium tank than a heavy tank. Heavy tank has like 12 horsepower per ton ratio on the Russian server. It's not fast. This thing should have like 20, if I remember correctly from the super test. But lots of box mags or drum mags for the machine gun. Should be a KPV-esque of a machine gun. At least 14.5 caliber. But has turret armor. Has double shotting capability. It's a 122 now, not a 130? It's 105. I thought it was 122. Huh. Crew of 4. It's also a medium tank. So fits all the Schwertwal T50, but this thing plays more like assault than actually support autoloader. 105, 9.8 seconds, which is not bad for that alpha, but prep time is 3, 5 seconds to switch to guns, 3-second lock time. Yeah, as expected, but yeah, a lot better DPM than what I remember. So let's check out the actual Lišák on the Russian server, just so we have a comparison. So clear the list. Tier 9 check heavy. This thing is also token tank, Battle Pass token tank, not an actual premium tank, but different. That's an actual KPV machine gun. So visually, mostly the same, but not as big of a space armor on the hull sides. Different machine gun, different gun caliber. Should be at least a 130 or 122. Snorkel on the back. The log. Also box mags for the machine gun. But more or less the same vehicle. Just this is a heavy. Our version is a medium tank. So 130. Yeah, it's a bigger caliber than our version, but it takes longer to reload, of course. So better DPM on our version. It's a 105 for some reason. I thought it was 122. Alright. And longer lock time. Longer reload, of course. Definitely longer reload. So, yeah. How good is the armor on this vehicle when it's a medium now? 1650 health. 180 hull front. Somewhat well sloped for the upper plate. And 230 turret front. 𝗶𝗶𝗱𝗱𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 It's only a sliver in the back. It's 150, but this thing has like 8 degrees of gun depression, so you could hide the cupola by gun depressing. Mantlet is about rounded 180 to about 250mm effective. You could jam a shell beneath the gun if he's gun depressed, but mostly 260mm effective or so. It is kind of flat for the cheeks, so high caliber gold shell will possibly go through, but upper plate 45 at a very good angle, so auto bounce practically, unless it's the driver bulge at about 130 sloped. Still about 230mm effective. Lower plate 200 effectively. So armor is not bad for a combat medium tank. When you're gun depressed and double shotting, DPM for the double shot on a medium tank. You don't see that much or that frequently of a medium tank with double shot. So it's usually heavy tanks, sometimes tank destroyers, but that's pretty good. I mean, that DPM for a double shot, not bad, right? So hull sides now have 5mm space armor, covering most of the hull sides now, rather than just above the drive wheel or road wheels. So let's see how good the armor on the Russian server version. Auto update. Update. Can you update? Thank you. 250 on the bottom plate. 90 on the upper plate. That is pretty good. It's still 130 for the driver bulge. Yep. Cupola is still there, but turret front is much stronger than our version. The trade-off is this vehicle is slower at 12 horsepower per ton ratio and 32 kilometers per hour top speed. So we're trading armor for mobility. Ours is, I thought it was 20, it's 19 now. It got nerfed slightly, but yeah, 19 is still respectable for a double-shotting medium tank, right? And 45 kilometers per hour top speed. So we're trading hull armor and some turret armor for better mobility and the caliber of the main gun. But I mean, we're already broken that glass ceiling of tier 9 premium medium tanks being kind of mediocre, right? So we're already broken that glass ceiling with the DZT or the Eric. So yeah, that glass ceiling's already been shattered. Tier 9 medium tanks could be pretty good. Premium wise, camo not really that great, but it's still better than the heavy tank. Yeah, still better than heavy tank version. And 370 on the heavy, 380 on the medium. Still below average radio for some reason, but this is not a bad medium tank. Which one would you rather play? The 𝗛𝗶𝗱𝗀𝗶𝗱𝗲 or the Lišák or the VZ62 Jasan? These two are premium. These two are medium. This one plays more like a traditional Škoda T50. This one plays like nothing what you would experience in the Czech tech tree. It's more like a Russian playstyle, right? Assault medium tank. Alright. Tier 10, the TST. It was originally tier 8 on the Russian server with a rapid firing 100mm. Now at tier 10, comparable to a 277 or VZ-55 with a single shot, but bigger side armor or bigger side skirts covering the side armor. And the machine gun is a little bit different, if I remember correctly. Large snorkel on the hull or on the turret. Yeah, this side skirt is definitely better than the Russian server version. Russian server version plays like a medium tank with a rapid firing 100mm. It's not that accurate, but it has like 3000 DPM or something. And there's a loincloth hiding the lower plate, which is good. There's nothing like that on the Russian server. So TST, we already covered it like 2 years ago, but tier 8 Czech heavy tank, the TST. So this vehicle, practically, it's a 100mm, kind of a same shape for the muzzle brake. 105, never mind. It's still rapid firing. I thought it was 3000 DPM. It's still close. It's a rapid firing 105, but 2000, almost 600 DPM for this gun. It does have the space armor on the turret, and we do too, but doesn't have the loincloth or the side skirts. So yeah, the side skirts are not as big, and no loincloth covering the bottom plate. So yeah, the gun for a tier 10 breakthrough heavy, it's quick to aim. That's a plus. It's a 122, but has 450 alpha, so slightly better than the 440 alpha on some 122s like the IS-4. But accuracy is pretty good. Aim time's pretty good. Gun depression, traverse could be faster, but it's fine. And 2400 DPM. So how good is the actual armor? It's very comparable to a 277 of a playstyle. It is breakthrough. So below average health in comparison to like 2400, but that's all the case for breakthrough heavy tanks. 100 on the hull front and 330 on the turret front, including space armor. So let's see how good. Loincloth 10mm covering 230. Actual bottom plate is 65, but yeah, you could troll with the actual middle plate. That's not the bottom plate. The bottom plate starts right here. So actual bottom plate is obviously the weak spot, but you could troll with this area of the loincloth, especially against shaped charge like how it's supposed to end the tank. That would be funny. Upper plate, well slope 100. Yeah, well slope 100. So you want to have gun depression, increase the effective value of the upper plate. And turret front is 50mm, covering 150 of turret cheeks. So that's pretty good. Some parts are 330. You're not getting through. Not even with a gold shell of a 𝗩𝗵𝗱𝗱𝗲𝗀𝗀 E100. No. Not even around the gun. No. Lots of space armor. There is a cupola weak spot on the back end, but it's still a nubbin all the way in the back. So once you gun depress with 8 degrees, you'll hide it. Something like that, right? It's a very small nubbin. And you can also traverse about to throw off the shot, but is it better? Of course it's better than the tier 8, I presume, right? If the tier 8 has the same armor, that'd be hilarious. Only 90 in comparison to 100. So on the upper plate. Bottom plate, no loincloth, space armor covering it. And definitely not for the bottom plate. Turret front, it's not as thick, obviously, and definitely not as thick around the gun. You could jam a shell between the mantlet and the space armor, but hard shot. And cupola is still there. It is 180 in comparison to like 150 on our version. Yeah, 150. So stronger cupola, but weaker turret front. Definitely not a big caliber gun, not a 122. It's a 105. 16 horsepower per ton ratio. 40 kilometers per hour top speed. Could use a turbocharger on this thing. I mean, it's no 277 or IS-7 with a top speed like 55 or 60. Those things are crazy. So definitely not as strong of a top speed, but it makes up for it with the gun handling and the accuracy of the 122. So that's the trade-off. Armor is reliable too. Camo, breakthrough heavy, not bad, but still kind of meh. View range 390. This is a fine assembly shop vehicle candidate if I ever seen one, right? It's good, it's generic, it fits all the mold. It's not as convoluted or kind of crazy with the Griffin, for that matter. So, or even the MBTB. So this is definitely more assembly shop candidate than you ever seen one. Or they could put the Griffin, or they could put the killer whale, the Schwertwal. It is massive. It is a German 60 TP practically. There's no machine gun for some reason. There's no MG42 or MG3, but massive rounded turret, especially with the access, the shell access port in the back for ammo loading. But killer whale with rocket boosters. Don't forget rocket boosters. It boosts for 20 seconds, but there's only 3 charges, so make sure you commit. But hull front is more like a M4A4 with the bulge for the radio operator and the driver, but mantlet looks like a AMX-30 proto a little bit. So tier 8 or tier 8 tier 10 special German heavy tank, 150mm, and crew of 5. What? Voice crack. Why not crew of 6? Missing unloader, but Erica fits well into this vehicle, so it's a pass from me. It's a rocket booster. Jet boosters increase engine power more than double. 2,200 horsepower on this beast. Alright, the firepower wise, it's a big caliber gun. 700 alpha, not 750 for some reason, but that's, was it 650 for the 60 TP? I don't remember. No, that's the 268 version number 4, right? But big caliber gun, takes a while to reload. 8 degrees gun depression, garbage accuracy, garbage aim time. It's a big caliber gun, garbage DPM, but yeah, assault heavy tank as what you would expect. Not as much health as you would expect. I was expecting like 2,700 or at least 2,500, similar to a E100 or Type 5, but health is really low. It's more like a versatile at this point, similar to a Super Conqueror or so, or Canopener at tier 10. But 180 hull front, 280 turret front. The bulge for the driver and the radio operator is 244 or 250 or so. Don't shoot the upper plate, don't shoot the middle plate. It's 180, well sloped. The cheeks are 300, bottom plate 200. You're not jamming shells to the turret front. Cupola is non-existent. Rangefinders are very hard to hit, very hard to hit. You cannot jam shells through the big ass mantlet, unlike the VK-72 or Panzerkampfwagen Mark 7. You can jam a shell through the gun mantlet and damage the vehicle, but shoot the driver hatch, shoot the radio operator hatch, unless he's gun depressed. It's even more thick. So, alright. Side armor, space armor. Thank God for the Germans. They keep taking away space armor on the hull sides for some reason. 110 for the actual armor. This little cheek negates the actual. Not really. It's still 280 at somewhat of an angle if you miss, but 120 on the front end for the driver as well as the radio operator. But and this is not exactly a weak spot. You can technically still side scrape, and side scrape with space armor is also pretty good too. So just don't expose like this little nook and you should be fine. This thing could use more health, like 200 more health, 300 more health, but killer whale. So what makes it special? Rocket boosters. 3 rocket booster charges, 20 seconds of boost. So not as much as a BZ-75, of course, but you boost longer. And this thing weighs about 90-ish tons. While boosting, it's 39 km/h top speed. It's not 50 with that weight, but it still could ram pretty well, right? Yeah, without the boosting, it's only 11.11 horsepower per ton ratio. It's not the fastest. Kind of weird. This thing only needs more health, I believe. Camo is surprising for a super heavy at 4.7 and 390 meters of view range. Actually, above average radio. Yeah, this thing is also assembly shop contender, but I feel people don't like playing super heavies or assault heavy tanks. Then breakthrough. So I believe the VZ-60S is more like an assembly shop than this vehicle. This vehicle could be like auction or something, or black market or something like that, right? So you'll probably see the VZ-60S before you see the Schwertwal. But alright, there we go folks, 38 minutes, holy crap, been rambling. So let's finish up with the 3 new styles from Battle Pass. And in the same similarity to our current Battle Pass number 16, number 17, the artists cooked again. And also Patton again for Battle Pass. Twice now, but yeah, some vehicles don't have one skin, such as the WZ-113 GFT or WZ-132-1. They have no style. They actually cooked again with the Battle Pass style, even though the crew members are still basic with the crew skin. Doesn't have the 0 skill brothers in arm, so they changed it. But yeah, they cooked again with the actual Battle Pass style, similar to the Type 71 or 𝗶𝗶𝗱𝗶𝗱𝗀 NC70, or what's the third one? E50M? Yeah, these styles awesome. No question. They cooked. Let them cook. So props to the artists or design department, but Canopener FV230. Not bad. More desert themed, but actually has a machine gun now on the turret. Is that, what the hell is that? Some sort of crane for launchers or no idea. It's a pulley system thing, possibly for ammo. No idea. Possibly for a field mortar system. Canopener on the hull end. Yeah. Also cooked with this style, but has headlights. Yeah, pretty good. Also thermal sleeve for the gun barrels. 2 of them. Which is also pretty good. And finally, the WZ-111-5A. This has a holiday op style, and on the Russian server, it already has 2 holiday op style, but also cooked. Also pretty good. Yeah, that camouflage net is doing wonders for this vehicle. I mean, is it better than the Green Dragon-esque of a camo? I mean, the Green Dragon is somewhat overkill. I mean, it's not like cartoony, but this looks good. Alright, this looks real good. So, I don't know. I might think this is better than the Holiday Op skin for the 5A. Whereas the Patton is a toss-up. So, yeah, the Patton is good, but the original Patton for Battle Pass is also pretty good. This is, I mean, you can have 2 good skins, right? But, yeah, this skin is pretty good too. Apocalypse Now reference. So, also there's a Thunderbolt. Some vehicle have like 3 skins. Some vehicle has nothing. Yeah, the Green Dragon looking thing. This is not bad, but I kinda prefer the Battle Pass one. Kinda, right? I mean, the yellow paint is a little bit too much. And the flamethrower doesn't do squat. So, yeah, this one's a little bit better. Patton is a toss-up. It's a definitely toss-up. Well, there you go, folks. Big ass patch. Will take me a long time. So to render everything, we are missing. Let's talk about MIA vehicles, but we are missing the TBT, which is already on the Russian server. The Chisei, we already covered that. The Luis, the AMX 3057 at tier 9. The Mini Crocodile. Missing that, so the cutoff is about 2 weeks ago or so. So Loco Dove, Vicious Wolfhound, the Killer Whale, Deutschland 60 TP with more steps. So yeah, we are somewhat caught up on the MIA vehicles. These vehicles just came out with the JPEGs, so these are pretty recent. And we're missing the Comrades 75. So last video we covered the Sentinel, the Sentinel, the AP58s. We're missing Zwilling, Visa 60S. Comrades is still gone. The Comet tank without the turret, just gone. So for now, alright. Now, before I recorded this video, tanks.gg has not been updated. Still has not been updated. So give me some slack. And there's still no article about the common test. So yeah, give me some slack if I miss stuff, but World of Tanks. Yeah, give me some slack. Is it on the North America? Nope. So no article for now, but cut me some slack if I miss out some stuff. Also, what's interesting is Equalize mode with non-standard rules. So basically, tier 1 equal tier 10. They'll buff the HP difference, damage, and penetration for tier 1s against tier 10s. So what that means is my T7 combat car would be amazing if they buff the Browning machine gun to like 230mm pen. That would be cool. What the hell is a T7 combat? Yeah, buff the Browning machine gun to like 250mm penetration, and this thing will have so much ammo. So I can't wait to try out with this mode, but we'll have to see. Cannot really play on the common test. It lags like hell. So you saw that with the neon dash thing, but alright. So as always, I'll put the actual patch teaser. So Equalize Arcade mode, Steel Hunter, and Battle Pass Season 17. But as always, thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.